Hoit! I'm back from my long slumber. I wanted to make this video to collect all my theories revolving around Arc 2. I know that one move delay is big, but I'm still struggling with P-ranking P2 and it was a great way to procrastinate from everything. I was also busy with creating a fan art and now I'm waiting for Act 3 to make this moment real so I can finally get cancelled on Twitter. But anyway, regarding the theories, although they will not be unique, there will be many thoughts that are common among the community, but I tried my best to keep quiet for the time being in the hope that I can bring some new ideas, so yeah, let's look into it. Before we begin, let me start this one with a heads up again. This video contains spoilers for the current full story of Ultrakill up to the most recent update. If you haven't played the game yet, go and play it first and we will see each other later. Hey guys, the name is Naija. I love good writing and interesting lore, and when I'm not pondering on the details of my novels draft, I put on my tinfoil hat to make lore theories about stuffs I enjoy. Today's topic is Ultrakill again, and I'd like you to go through some thoughts with me regarding the new information we received last month. On the 17th of March, Ultrakill's puzzle Arc 2 was solved by a sleep-ridden team after losing 48 hours of intense investigation. If you want to see the whole story, please do check the document and the video linked in the description. I think we all can be thankful to the guys for solving this puzzle and Hakita for making it because it contains something big. Hell is alive! Well, first when I checked the data entry hidden in the deep puzzle chaos of Arc 2, I thought, yeah, that's cool. More details of the lore, interesting progress. Then I took a walk and said, wait a fucking minute, this is huge. This changes everything, like everything we knew before. Except for Gabriel, but do not worry, there is no Naija without Gabriel. First of all, the reason why God left has changed, or we receive more background info about it, that is. Before Arc 2, I believe that God just had enough of mankind's shit with spending all their free wills on war crimes and pollution, and we did not even question this because checking the news and living in Hungary, sometimes I'd peace out from this planet too if I could, but anyway, God left because he was horrified by hell. He was not resentful against mankind in Testament 1, but he expressed anger for their sake. This makes God from a bitter, angry old man who finally had enough into someone who lost hope and just broke. So this means that Ultrakill's world is so grim that even God couldn't keep it together anymore there. As we can deduce from the Prime Sanctum terminal entries, mankind found Hell and started the Hell excavation project. The terminals we see at the start of each level and at the entry of boss fight rooms are remains of this project that reached an abrupt end for some reason. God cursed free will because he knew that humanity entered the lion's den and free will forbade him from stopping them. Testament 2 and Testament 3 shows bits of God's bitter fight with mankind's eventual end. Here I'm conflicted about how should we interpret these lines. It can either mean that God tried to recreate the world over and over again, but mankind always discovered hell, or God might have tried to alter the already existing world with eliminating free will from it. Either way, he failed and he was unable to remove hell from the picture as well. And if hell cannot be unmade, I'm afraid it means it's superior to God. Here we can spot a neat parallel between God and mankind. God created hell which surpassed him later, and mankind created the machines who they might have been unable to defeat later, if they were in conflict at all. We will come back to this later. Back to hell's superiority. Here comes the question. Did it become superior after God threw Lucifer down in his frustration and despair, realizing the harshness of punishment he intended to mankind, or before that? If it became superior after Lucifer's fall, was he absorbed by hell, meaning that he is part of hell's hive mind now? This question might be interesting because Lucifer was one of the three angels of God among Michael and Gabriel. And we know that at 3-2 in the flesh, the I in gluttony follows Gabriel instead of V1, because his involvement was an interesting progress of events. If Lucifer is part of the hive mind, then it's not only an interesting progress, but it might be very personal. Also now, we have a possible reason behind mankind's sudden extinction. Yes, the war and the pollution might have decimated the population. Probably the machines caused the problem too, but the true cause was hell itself. I believe this was hinted in the ferryman's diary under the following paragraph. Then one day the current shifted, wave after wave for minutes on end of millions, billions, as though the throats of the world was cut wide and the head wrenched back to speed the pour. These lines hint at a terrible cataclysm that caused all people's death at once, and Styx was overflown with their souls, dragging poor ferryman with the current. At this point, something does not add up about our encounter with Minos Prime.
Creature of steel, my gratitude upon thee for my freedom. But the crimes thy kind have committed against humanity are not forgotten. And thy punishment is death.
As the former judge of hell, he intended to punish V1 for his crimes against humanity. This was straightforward and clear before the P-2 update. Despite the fact that V1 was never mass-produced, V2 was a security unit, and street cleaners were made to sustain the livable environment for humanity. Then we heard the monologue of Sisyphus, and something was off here.
However, the blood of Minos stains your hands, and I must admit, I'm curious about your skills, weapon.
How did he know that we met Minos? V1 travels through hell quickly. Between 3.2 and 6.2 we can assume that maybe 12 hours or a bit more has passed, and Sisyphus was deep asleep in the flesh panopticon. Also, Sisyphus refers to V1 as child of mankind, which is a last hostile connection between the two creations. However, Sisyphus is a warlord in Ultrakill's lore. If he would have been informed about the machine's crime against humanity, I think he would have referred V1 as slayer of mankind, or something along these lines. I can only think of one possible explanation. Hell's Hellmind can reach the Prime Souls, and it gives them the information that would motivate them to challenge the machine. It knew that Minos would want to beat V1 if it is responsible for mankind's fate, and Sisyphus is interested in big challenges. I'm not sure if Hell did it for entertainment or self-defense. We know from Arc 2 that Hell is doing everything for entertainment. However, some Reddit users put together an interesting theory. What if the last remains of mankind programmed a short message into the machines in hope that they can stop Hell, and then they died too? Why the game's motto appears in the booting sequence. We have lore explanation for closing doors and cybergrind even. At this point, I do not think there is no reason behind this. And if this is true, V1 might attempt to free the Prime Souls to make them allies, but Hell sabotages it. Now that we reach this information that Hell is closing doors and meshes machines into husks for the sake of entertainment, I cannot get rid of the thought that V1 is in great danger. Our journey with it proves that it is the strongest machine currently, and if Hell gets a hold of it, that might be a problem. This puts Gabriel's first speech under a new light.
Machine, turn back now. The layers of this palace are not for your kind. Turn back, or you will be crossing the will of God.
I was always thinking about this not for your kind line. Why would it not be for V1's kind? It is strong enough to deal with any danger there, and it's free food. And how would it cross the will of God? What is the will of God here even? I'm sure Gabriel couldn't explain this one. It is God's will, it is not to be questioned. Maybe the council urged Gabriel to eliminate V1, but spared him from the details about Hell's sentience, so that's why they were so harsh about his defeat. So Hakita can't see redemption arc when. Okay, in fact, I do not know who would hell attack now that mankind is extinct, but God was able to go somewhere else, heaven can be reached probably, so it might be an issue if hell just starts conquering the entire universe because it's bored. Long story short, V1 is in danger unless it is already infected with hell's hive mind, because we do not know whose side are the terminals on. We know that they are supporting V1 in his journey, machines have the cyber grind, they have their own internal culture, you could say, but did this culture develop under hell's influence, or the other way around? Did the machine's culture inspire hell to imitate it? And if the terminal's hive mind is different from hell's, will we see a literal Deus Ex Machina? The testaments of God are available through terminals for some reason. Might they contain a fragment of God, maybe? The Prime Sanctum terminal entries were written after the Hell excavation project has been cancelled, so we can assume that the terminals and Hell share the same mind, but regardless, I expect or hope a twist here. Terminal entry number 2 did not connect the dots between the terminal's boredom and Hell's need for entertainment for some reason. On top of that, although it's a niche detail, one certain terminal has a unique message after it suffers an unfortunate accident. I was wondering if this implies that each terminal has its own personality and mind of its own. Well, we will find everything out in the ending hopefully. For now, all we have is the information about a bigger fish of great importance. And talking about bigger fishes, in my previous video I explained the connection between 2S and the ending of Act 2. I have a theory about how the contents of 5S might be applied to the possible outcome of Act 3. We know that there is a bigger fish. We are looking for this bigger fish. Maybe we are losing ourselves a bit in searching for this bigger fish. But if we let it go and do everything as we can, we get credit for that too. Our fishing skills are impressive, we caught so many congrats, meaning that although we did not find or catch the biggest threat, we did enough and proved our worth. And the Song of Imperfect Love Song is played during the video of the ending of 5S. I'm sure Hakita could have written a different song, but for some reason he used that, so yeah, that's sus. However, the biggest question here is whether these lore fragments will be relevant for the main narrative and the ending, knowing that all of this content with R2 and the terminal journals are optional. I think they might be used because the important details can be written into the main story easily with some small exposition and dialogues. Based on that, I think Gabriel might learn about these entries, or at least about Hell's sentience, and he may try to do something about it. Maybe we will cope with him even. We already have a copish character in the game who can follow us and engage with enemies, which was again an interesting feature to me, even if it is just an Easter egg or a joke, so yes, that's a possibility. And if Gabriel decides to challenge Hell, will God aid him? Gabriel means God is my strength, and he really needs Dad's attention and support nowadays, so yup, we have lots of questions again. Anyway, these were my thoughts about the findings of Arc 2. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to share your theories and ideas with me. It's nice to have a discussion about this game's lore. I also want to say my thanks to the Solver Squad once again for the hard work. You guys are amazing. I just had so much fun looking at the chat log. Please share this video with your friends if they might be interested in it. Consider dropping a like, and hopefully we'll meet again.